'71, I won South Africa, I won the Equestrian Grand Prix. Mario, who were the greatest Formula One drivers you ever faced? That's probably the question I've been asked more than any other since I stopped racing. People expect a simple list. They expect me to name the world champions, the record holders, or the men who filled the history books. But for me, the answer has never been that simple. I've raced against some incredible drivers over the years. Some won more championships than I did. Some were quicker over a single lap. Some seemed almost impossible to beat on Sundays.
Every generation of Formula One believes it witnessed the greatest driver in history. Some point to raw speed. Others value consistency. Some admire fearless bravery, while others believe intelligence wins championships. But very few people have earned the right to judge them all. Mario Andretti is one of those rare voices. From the brutal machines of the late 1960s to the ground effect revolution of the late 1970s, Andretti raced during one of Formula One's most dangerous and transformative eras.
But when I think about greatness, I don't immediately think about trophies or statistics. I think about the drivers who changed the way I raced, the ones who forced me to prepare differently before climbing into the cockpit, the ones who made every qualifying session feel like a championship fight.
He shared circuits with world champions, future legends, fearless risk-takers, and engineering pioneers. He won the 1978 Formula One World Championship, conquered Indianapolis, Daytona, and Le Mans, and became one of the most versatile racing drivers the sport has ever known. Over the decades, Andretti has spoken with enormous respect about several remarkable competitors. While he has never published an official ranking of the greatest drivers he faced, his interviews, reflections, and racing experiences reveal a clear admiration for a handful of extraordinary talents who left an unforgettable impression on him. Some were relentless competitors. Some changed the sport forever. And one, above all, represented the complete racing driver. Let's begin with the first name on that remarkable list. The fifth driver, Jackie Stewart. There are champions who win races. Then there are champions who change an entire sport. Jackie Stewart managed to do both. When Mario Andretti arrived in Formula One, the championship was still an incredibly dangerous place. Drivers accepted risks that would be unimaginable today. Fatal accidents were tragically common, circuits lacked proper safety barriers, and many believed danger was simply part of racing. Stewart refused to accept that philosophy. Behind his calm Scottish voice was one of the sharpest racing minds Formula One had ever seen. 3 world championships, 27 Grand Prix victories, a reputation for precision that few drivers could equal. Andretti often admired Stewart's remarkable consistency. Unlike many of his contemporaries who relied almost entirely on courage, Stewart combined bravery with calculation. Every lap appeared effortless, but behind the wheel he was constantly evaluating grip, tire wear, fuel, weather, and race strategy long before those concepts became common in Formula One. Few fans realized just how adaptable Stewart really was. Whether the circuit was soaked with rain or baking under summer heat, he seemed to understand exactly where the limit existed, and more importantly, when not to cross it. That discipline made him incredibly difficult to beat. But Stewart's greatest legacy wasn't simply his driving. It was his determination to make Formula One safer. At a time when many drivers believed fatalities were inevitable, Stewart campaigned tirelessly for better medical facilities, safer circuits, stronger barriers, and improved emergency response. His efforts were often unpopular among race organizers and even some fellow competitors, yet history proved him right. Andretti has acknowledged how much Stewart's leadership influenced the sport's future. Without those changes, countless careers and lives might have followed very different paths. Yet Stewart wasn't remembered only because he survived an unforgiving era. He dominated it. His smooth driving style seemed almost gentle compared to some of his rivals, but beneath that elegance was ruthless efficiency. He rarely wasted energy, rarely overdrove the car, and almost never made costly mistakes. That combination of intelligence and speed earned admiration from competitors across generations. And yet, remarkable as Jackie Stewart was, there was another champion whose natural ability left an even deeper impression on those fortunate enough to race against him. The fourth driver, Emerson Fittipaldi. Some drivers arrive in Formula One with confidence. Others arrive and quietly redefine what a complete racing driver looks like. Emerson Fittipaldi belonged to the second group. When the young Brazilian entered Formula One in 1970, he carried none of the flamboyance that often surrounded elite racing drivers. Soft-spoken, analytical, and remarkably composed, Fittipaldi let his driving do the talking. The results came quickly. He became Formula One's youngest world champion in 1972, a record that stood for decades, and added a second title in 1974. More importantly, he helped establish Brazil as one of Formula One's great racing nations, inspiring generations of drivers who would eventually include Nelson Piquet, Ayrton Senna, Rubens Barrichello, and Felipe Massa. Mario Andretti knew exactly how formidable Fittipaldi could be. They competed during one of Formula One's most competitive periods, when technical innovation was accelerating almost as quickly as the cars themselves. Teams were discovering new aerodynamic concepts, tire technology was evolving rapidly, and every season demanded that drivers adapt to machines with completely different personalities. Few adapted better than Fittipaldi. His greatest strength wasn't spectacular overtaking or dramatic qualifying laps. It was consistency. Weekend after weekend, he extracted nearly everything his car could deliver while avoiding unnecessary mistakes. Engineers trusted his feedback. Team principals trusted his judgment. Even rivals respected his remarkable ability to remain calm under pressure. That composure became one of his defining characteristics. One race in particular demonstrated exactly why. The 1974 championship battle remained incredibly close throughout the season. Every point mattered. Every mechanical failure carried enormous consequences. Yet Fittipaldi resisted the temptation to chase reckless victories. Instead, he focused on maximizing every opportunity, collecting points whenever possible, and allowing consistency to outperform aggression. That disciplined approach ultimately secured his second world championship. Andretti understood how difficult that kind of patience truly was. In an era filled with fearless chargers, Fittipaldi proved that intelligence could be just as powerful as outright speed. His influence extended beyond Formula One as well. After achieving success in Europe, he returned to America and became one of the few drivers to excel in both Formula One and IndyCar, creating another connection between his career and Andretti's own remarkable versatility. But as complete as Emerson Fittipaldi was, there remained another driver whose extraordinary precision, relentless determination, and unmatched ability behind the wheel would elevate the standard even higher. The third driver, Niki Lauda. Some champions were remembered for breathtaking speed. Others became legends because they refused to surrender. Niki Lauda somehow became both. When Mario Andretti spoke about the great competitors of his era, he often emphasized that Formula One was never won through talent alone. Intelligence, discipline, and an obsessive attention to detail separated the good drivers from the truly exceptional. Few embodied those qualities more completely than Lauda. At first glance, Lauda didn't fit the image of a racing superstar. He wasn't flamboyant. He rarely sought headlines. His public demeanor was calm, almost clinical. Yet inside the cockpit, he possessed one of the sharpest analytical minds Formula One had ever seen. Lauda treated racing like an engineering problem waiting to be solved. He worked relentlessly with mechanics, questioned every setup change, and demanded precise answers from his engineers. While many drivers relied on instinct, Lauda combined instinct with meticulous preparation. That partnership transformed Ferrari during the mid-1970s and helped return the Scuderia to championship-winning form. Mario Andretti respected that approach because he shared it. Both men understood that modern Formula One wasn't simply about driving faster than everyone else. It was about understanding the machine beneath you. Then came the defining chapter of Lauda's career. The 1976 German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring remains one of the most significant moments in Formula One history. Following a devastating accident, Lauda suffered severe burns and inhalation injuries. Many believe his racing career had ended. Yet only 6 weeks later, he climbed back into his Ferrari at Monza. Even today, that decision seems almost impossible to comprehend. Andretti, like many drivers of that generation, never underestimated what that return represented. It wasn't recklessness. It was extraordinary determination. Although Lauda narrowly lost the 1976 championship to James Hunt, his resilience became part of Formula One folklore. He would later win 2 more world championships, proving that his comeback was no miracle. It was the continuation of an already extraordinary career. But there was another reason Andretti admired him. Lauda wasn't afraid to challenge conventional thinking. Whether questioning technical decisions, criticizing unsafe conditions, or demanding excellence from everyone around him, he constantly pushed Formula One forward. He raced with his head as much as his hands. That rare balance between intelligence and courage made him one of the most complete competitors Andretti ever encountered. Yet even Lauda's remarkable achievements couldn't overshadow the effortless brilliance of the next driver, a man many contemporaries believe possessed the purest natural talent Formula One had ever seen. The second driver, Jim Clark. There are champions who dominate an era. Then there are drivers whose greatness becomes almost mythical. Jim Clark belongs to that second category. Ask almost any driver who competed during the 1960s who possessed the greatest natural ability, and Clark's name appears again and again. Mario Andretti has long spoken of Clark with profound admiration, describing him as one of the finest racing drivers the world has ever produced. Although their time competing directly in Formula One was brief, Andretti witnessed enough to understand why Clark inspired such universal respect. What made Clark extraordinary wasn't just his record. It was how effortlessly those victories seemed to arrive. Driving for Lotus founder Colin Chapman, Clark captured 2 Formula One World Championships in 1963 and 1965. He won races on twisting street circuits, ultra-fast tracks, and rain-soaked venues with the same remarkable composure. His versatility extended far beyond Formula One, with victories in touring cars, sports cars, and the Indianapolis 500, an achievement few European-based drivers even attempted. Andretti appreciated that versatility because it mirrored his own philosophy that the greatest racing drivers should master every discipline, not just one. Yet statistics alone cannot explain Clark's reputation. Contemporaries often described him as almost impossibly smooth behind the wheel. He appeared to guide the car rather than fight it. Spectators rarely saw dramatic corrections or spectacular slides. Everything looked calm, measured, and almost graceful. But beneath that elegance lay astonishing speed. Engineers frequently remarked that Clark could identify subtle changes in a car's behavior that others never noticed. He instinctively understood weight transfer, tire grip, and vehicle balance long before telemetry existed to confirm those sensations. Few fans realized just how dominant he could be. During the 1965 season, Clark won 6 of the 10 World Championship races he entered, while also traveling to America to win the Indianapolis 500 in the revolutionary Lotus 38. It remains one of motorsport's greatest demonstrations of versatility. Sadly, Clark's career was cut tragically short in 1968 during a Formula 2 race in Germany. His loss deeply affected the motorsport community, including drivers like Andretti, who understood just how much more he still had to give. For many, Clark represented racing perfection. And yet, in Mario Andretti's reflections over the years, there is one name that consistently carries a unique sense of reverence, a champion whose influence stretched across generations, and whose brilliance became the benchmark against which every great driver would eventually be measured. The number 1 driver, Juan Manuel Fangio. If Jim Clark represented effortless brilliance, Juan Manuel Fangio represented the very foundation of greatness. Although Mario Andretti never raced wheel-to-wheel against Fangio in a Formula One World Championship Grand Prix, their careers overlapped only briefly as Fangio retired before Andretti's F1 career truly began. Andretti has repeatedly described Fangio as one of the greatest racing drivers in history. His admiration is based on Fangio's extraordinary achievements and the respect Fangio commanded from virtually every generation of racing drivers. Fangio's record still commands awe. 5 Formula One World Championships. Victories with 4 different manufacturers. Success achieved in an era when reliability was uncertain, circuits were unforgiving, and every race demanded immense courage. Yet numbers alone cannot explain Fangio's legacy. What separated him from everyone else was his adaptability. He could step into unfamiliar machinery, immediately understand its strengths and weaknesses, and extract performance that seemed impossible. Teammates, rivals, and engineers consistently praised his mechanical sympathy, his ability to preserve the car while maintaining relentless pace. That balance fascinated Andretti throughout his own career. Andretti often spoke about the importance of feeling connected to a racing car, of understanding what it was telling you through the steering wheel, pedals, and seat. Fangio exemplified that philosophy decades earlier. Perhaps no race illustrates his genius better than the 1957 German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. After an ill-timed pit stop left him nearly a minute behind the Ferraris, Fangio produced one of the most celebrated recovery drives in Formula One history. Lap after lap, he broke the circuit record, hunted down both leaders, and reclaimed victory in the closing stages. It remains one of the sport's defining performances. For Andretti, Fangio's greatness wasn't simply about winning. It was about mastering every challenge the sport presented. His influence extended far beyond his own era. Drivers as different as Jackie Stewart, Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher, and Lewis Hamilton have all spoken with deep respect about Fangio's place in Formula One history. Few champions have inspired such universal admiration across so many generations. That enduring respect is perhaps the clearest measure of his legacy. Because true greatness isn't confined to one decade, one team, or one championship. It becomes timeless. When Mario Andretti reflects on the men who shaped Formula One, one theme emerges again and again. Greatness was never defined by speed alone. Jackie Stewart showed that intelligence and leadership could change an entire sport. Emerson Fittipaldi proved that consistency could overcome raw aggression. Niki Lauda demonstrated that preparation and resilience could rewrite history. Jim Clark embodied a level of natural talent that still feels almost mythical. And Juan Manuel Fangio established the standard by which every champion since has been measured. These drivers raced in different cars, under different regulations, and in different generations. Yet they shared something that statistics can never fully capture: an unwavering commitment to excellence. Records will continue to fall. Technology will continue to evolve. New champions will emerge. But the names that endure are the ones that inspired other champions. And when a world champion like Mario Andretti spends a lifetime speaking with admiration about these remarkable competitors, it's a reminder that the greatest measure of a driver's legacy isn't found in a trophy cabinet. It's found in the respect they earn from those who truly understand what it takes to reach the pinnacle of motorsport. Who would make your list of the 5 greatest Formula One drivers of all time? Share your thoughts below, and join us for another journey into the stories behind motorsport's greatest legends.